Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Who We Are podcast. I'm thrilled to have a very special guest with us, Janet Lansbury. Janet has been a guiding light for so many parents, including myself, with her compassionate and respectful approach to parenting. Her work, which is rooted in the principles of Magda Gabor's edu-caring approach, has inspired countless families to foster deeper connections with their children and navigate the joys and challenges of parenting with empathy and grace. In a special conversation today, Janet will share her invaluable insights on building strong, respectful relationships with our children and offer practical advice for applying these principles in our everyday lives. So whether you're a seasoned parent or just beginning this journey, I believe you'll find Janet's wisdom and perspective truly inspiring. So let's dive in for this very special and short episode with one of the most thoughtful voices in the world of parenting. Parenting is one of the most important and crucial jobs in the world, but it does not come with any instruction manual, job description on how to do it. And so, how would you describe, though, Janet, the role of parents?
I think the best job for us is to know which parts to trust and which parts to lead. And I talk about this in my new book that I'm writing now. I talk about it in terms of that metaphor of roots and wings. You know, some places children need the roots. They need us to lead. Like I was saying with the relationship, whatever's going on, something's going on in our relationship, I'm going to be the one to help figure this out with you. I'm going to be the one that sets boundaries for you and helps you have that structure that you need that will root you to be able to have a place to fly from with your wings. And then with your wings, you get to learn the cognitive skills, the creative skills, the motor skills in your way and time. You get to, as you get older, figure out what you are, keep in touch with that side of yourself, building confidence in, oh, this is who I am. Our children are not going to be who we necessarily want them to be.
You know, Janet, hearing you and also understanding more on what you really believe, and it sounds like we have to lean into our child a lot and also therefore lead accordingly, right? So it sounds also then that every child is so different, and you have 3, you would know. I have 2. You know, as of now, my eldest is 3 going 4, my youngest is 6 months, and already I can tell that they're so different, you know. What does this mean for us as parents, you know, if we have to really also lean in individually to each of them? And are there certain guiding principles in your mind and in your heart when you parent each of them?
Well, the keys to that are to observe and listen. And so you're not, I don't even know if I would use the term leaning into them so much. I would use the term sometimes getting a little space, like I did in that first baby class.
Wow.
Where I was kind of leaning in, you know, and when you're leaning in, sometimes you're not really seeing. You're especially when you're leaning in and doing, you're not seeing. So I wasn't seeing her until I leaned back and saw something. So one of the central ideas in this approach is observe. And so observe your baby, like give them that time to express self by, instead of put the toy in their hand, see, maybe they're not going to reach for that toy you're putting it near them. Everything is near them. And ideally in this approach, you set it up so you just have the toys down there and then you place them down. So you're not trying to put it like, oh, let's put it right next to you. You know, we're not trying to set up some result that for us that we think they should do. We're having choices, opportunities, and then we're seeing what they do. So they're allowed to express, actually, I wasn't into that toy. I was into looking up there at the ceiling, or I was into this toy. And another thing that we sometimes do is we think it's natural to think they're reaching their hand out and that means, oh, they must need that toy and I better get it for them because they're going to be sad. And actually, if you wait, so observe, and then another magic word, wait. You wait and you see, actually my child was reaching out their hand and they were seeing how far their fingers went to touching that, or they touched it and it moved away and they really didn't mind. They were just interested in how they touched something and it moved away. They weren't like, oh no, I didn't get it. Be in our child's shoes, and try to see from their point of view, which has to start with us letting go of our fears and agendas just while we're observing. So Magda used to say when we'd observe in class, and we all, as teachers, kind of practice this sometimes with parents too, like, imagine there's a basket, we're passing it around, and you could do this at home with yourself. Just take that basket. Now you're with your child. In a sense, you're playing with them because you're doing the best thing, which is enjoying who they are instead of saying, you play this way, come on, follow me. Like, maybe I'll just follow you and be interested in what you're doing. So take that imaginary basket and put in all your worries, your agendas, what you think everybody told you your child should be learning this by now. Oh no, they're not doing that yet. I was never good at this and I want my child to be, like, whatever all those thoughts are, you just put them aside, at least for now, so you can just see what is and not project as much. We're always going to project. It's hard not to project, especially with somebody that's not talking a lot.
Yeah.
Very easy to project.
We always think that we know better. Yeah.
And we see children, we see babies, especially in a very kind of self-centered way, not because we're self-centered people, but because we don't see that they're a whole person. So everything is about us, like, oh, they're looking away from me, or they're, I need to do something to make them have a certain result or have a certain thing. Everything becomes about us when we don't see them as more than a limited form of human.
In your opinion, what are some key elements of a nurturing and supportive parent-child relationship?
As children get older, it's really that trust and letting go of agendas that are around anything besides the boundaries that children need us to take care of. So whenever we have agendas around that other stuff, if we can let go of them, then we'll see our child. And also our child will feel like they're good enough as they are. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And sometimes people want to say, oh, they want to tell the child, I don't care what you do. If you get bad grades, I still love you and you're still good enough. But the thing is, that's usually way too late. By the time we tell them that, they've already learned it through our actions in so many ways and through our disappointment. So if we can practice trusting them in all these areas of life, then that makes for an amazing relationship where somebody feels accepted, not only accepted, but we love them as they are. We think they're cool, and we're interested in their choices. We want to know them.
Do you have any insights or tips for promoting positive sibling relationships within families?
When they're either acting out with their sibling or with us, it's a very normal thing because this transition is such a difficult one for every child. It's sometimes the first sort of break they've felt in their life where they're afraid of something. They're afraid that they lost the life they had and the feelings they had from their parent. And now they're kind of pushed to the side. And while we as parents, we can see that all as, that's what happens. You have another child. But to them, it's just like, my world was this. Everybody was my parent. And now somebody else is taking everything away from me, it feels like. If we could see that and empathize with them that way, we could help them without making a big judgy scene out of it, where they feel even more scared, right? They're going to be even more uncomfortable if we're like, stop that, you're gonna have the baby, So if we can come in, if we can kind of set up our environment ahead of time, so the baby has their safe bassinet, or it's over here and the older child's like playing over there, and we see them coming, maybe they're coming kind of, it seems happy, but now we're going to try to give our attention to this because they're coming towards the baby. And we see them start to come in all excited maybe, and we're just like, oh, I'm just going to slow you down. Yeah, you're all excited. You want to say hi, but I'm just here to keep you safe.
Thank you so much, Janet. And, for those of us who want to continue to follow you and your work and also look up for your latest book, where can we follow you and where can we, have updates to what's coming up next for you?
Well, you can always check out my website, janetlansbury.com. I have like 700 resources. They're all free. I'm one of the few people that just gives you a whole bunch of stuff for free. And I have a course, particularly about discipline, No Bad Kids Master Course, that I put a lot of time into and just tried to kind of give everything somebody would need to absorb it and embody like the leader role.
Thank you, Janet, for who you are and what you do to continue to help so many parents all over the world.
Thank you, Rachel.